Okay, I think we're doing it now. So my apologies to anybody that has missed this. Um, oh yes, actually it is working now because I can see everything looking like it was previously. Hopefully you've all managed to join me, or if you haven't, you will come across me a bit later. So please feel a little bit sad for me that it did go wrong, but hey, we've all got to learn, and this was one of my learning curves. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, everybody, to all of you beautiful human beings. Thank you so much for joining me, and a big hello to you if you're watching me on replay catch up. So, I always try and do things really short, but I can pretty much guarantee that today is not going to be very short. I would imagine about half an hour. And I want to go through 12 tips with you because Christmas is supposed to be an amazing time of the year, full of family, friends, kindness, giving, and good cheer. It's fun, it's sparkly, festive, and full on celebration of happiness. But this year can also be stressful. Sorry, this time of year can also be stressful. It can be exhausting and tiring, and it isn't always easy to stay focused and energized, and it can be really lonely. I know there are many people that will be spending Christmas alone this year. I'm going to be spending it with my disabled mum. My daughter is off to Manchester to see her dad, and I lost my dad last Christmas. So I have to say I'm not exactly the most joyful about Christmas this year. So I've pulled together what I think are some good tips and tricks to help you, and there's 12. And it's a bit like an advent calendar, really. What I will be doing is I'm going to run through them briefly today for you, hopefully briefly. And then each day during the week, I'm going to post in the group with a little bit more information so you can have a read a bit more about what the techniques are that I'm talking about. Now, I call it the 12 Days of Yule because, as we all know, it is the winter solstice here in the northern hemisphere. I'm guessing, and I'm really guessing this here, that in the southern hemisphere it is the start of your summer, so it'll be the summer solstice. So hopefully I've got that right. If not, please do correct me in the comments because I am living and learning, as you can see by the technology and the fact that this is a global group of people. So, as I said, I'm going to quickly go through this. It's going to be like an advent calendar. I'm going to open up one in each detail throughout the week. Yule is a festival of fire, and it signifies in the northern hemisphere of the coming of the light. But you don't always see it happening quickly. So for me, Yule is about patience. And patience is something that you need when you're trying to feel better, feel good, and to get top of your game. Because it isn't, when you learn strategies and personal development techniques or get tips and ideas, more often than not, it's not a once and done and that's it, everything's changed. A lot of the things take practice. A lot of things take repetition because you're creating new neural pathways, new habits in the brain, etc. So I do ask of you, just be patient and have a go at some things, and always talk to me in the group. I'll happily answer any questions and come up with solutions if you come across any problems. But like I always say, it is different strokes for different folks, so don't be surprised if all of the 12 that I go through today or during the week don't work for everybody all of the time, because we are all different. Which takes me very nicely, I didn't actually plan that, into the first tip that I have for you. My first idea is that I would like you to think about being unique. Now, Peter Robinson mentioned this when I posted earlier in the group about forget everybody else and just think about you. He was so right with that. It was almost like he'd actually seen my script and knew what I was going to say, because quit hiding your magic. I've said that before. You are unique. You are special. You are the only one like you. You are the only one that has the fingerprints the way that you do. Even identical twins don't. You see life through your own experiences, through your environment, your friends. They've all shaped who you are. And you have had a mind of your own, funny enough, we all do, which helps you to develop being you. So celebrate your uniqueness. And one of the reasons why I mention it is because there's an awful lot at this time of year where people are thinking, oh, it's Christmas, I need to be happy, I need to have all my family with me, I need to have lots of presents, the tree needs to be in a certain way. Well, that's not necessarily true. If that isn't how you feel about Christmas, then there's no need to do it. Don't put your stress on yourself. The person that is putting the stress is you. So if the family down the road are all getting together and, or COVID notwithstanding, and having a big fuss about it, but you're at home on your own, or like me with my mum, then you do your Christmas your way. And it's no good looking over the fence and thinking, oh, what a wonderful time they're having, because we all know that you can be lonely within a crowd. And sometimes things can be quite fraught when everybody gets together, especially when it's once a year and you probably haven't spoken on some occasions for quite a long time. So really the key message is you are unique. But what I really want you to think about is about that comparisonitis, because it's the comparisonitis, comparing yourselves to what you think you should and what other people think and what other people are doing, that will make you feel unhappy. So what my top tip is actually just practice now. Pay attention to yourself and your thoughts, because these thoughts, this comparisonitis, actually goes through your mind, and you can be quite surprised to find, if you listen to what you're saying to yourself, it is your thoughts that are creating those feelings of not being satisfied. Oh, hi Kerry, I'm so glad that you've joined us. Shelley too, really lovely to see you both, although I can't see you, but you can see me. So what I would suggest, or my first action for you, is over the next couple of days, just notice how many times you compare yourself to others. And by noticing, that's the first step of stopping it. And remember, well, you may not need to remember this, but the thing that we don't realise is when we're looking outside of ourselves, we are comparing ourselves and our lives to what other people want us to see. And the comparison we're making is about the real life that we have. And it's our B-roll, because we are aware of all of our problems, our issues, with the things that aren't quite going right. So it's a bit like comparing apples and pears. You see everybody's A-roll, which is what you see when you go to the cinema, and then you are comparing it to your B-roll, which is all of the cuttings from the film that have been left on the floor. So action, pay attention. How many times do you compare yourself to others? And it can be just that small voice in your head that's saying it. So my second tip is about self-fullness. Now, self-fullness is kind of like one of those words. It's a newfangled thing. I heard it once and loved it, because self-fullness for me is not about being selfish, being self-interested, and it's not about being selfless and putting everybody else in front of you, that self-sacrificing thing. It's about you and them having this win-win situation. And I think one of the things that occurs to me is when you're on an aeroplane, they always tell you to put your oxygen mask on yourself first before you can help anybody else, because actually you need to take care of yourself, otherwise you just haven't got the energy or the oxygen to do it. So again, I just realised how many times I say so in a conversation. I need to be careful. I might have to have a buzzer and buzz myself every time I do to stop it. So we do at Christmas time and through the new year feel this pressure that we need to make everybody else's Christmas perfect, that we need to have the perfect gift, that we need to actually be happy and jolly like I mentioned earlier. But that just makes them unhappy because they're probably not that happy anyway, because they can sense that you're not happy, and it can become a lose-lose situation. So I would like you to think and consider about how being selfful, considering yourself and them, is actually the key thing. Because you don't want to do things at the expense of your own health and your own mind. You don't want to self-sacrifice because you are as important as everybody else. And at the same time, you don't want to be selfish. So one of the things I'd like you to do is to think about how many times do you say yes to something or someone when actually you want to say no. So the next few days, consider that and think about ways that you might be able to decline things that actually bring you stress and unhappiness, and that you can do things that make you feel better. So for instance, if you're invited to a party, not that we have parties at the moment, but if you were invited to a party and you're an introvert, you may find yourself saying, yes, you're going to go, but no doubt you'll have been winding yourself up before the event, because actually introverts don't often like parties. And then if you go along, you're going to be feeling quite anxious and uptight and actually wishing that you were anywhere but at the party. So that word no, you don't have to just say no. One of the ways that I would suggest or recommend dealing with the situation like the party would be to say, thank you very much for the invitation, but unfortunately, no, I'm not going to attend. But what I would really like is for us two to meet up, maybe later on, and perhaps we could stop off and have coffee and cake or maybe a meal out somewhere. And to me, that is the essence of self-fullness, because the person that invited you wanted to have you at their party and they wanted to spend time with you, but you didn't feel particularly comfortable. But you were honest and true to yourself and said no and offered an alternative that would make you feel better and more comfortable. So that to me is a good example of self-fullness. Number 3, mindfulness. Mindfulness, we get so overwhelmed at this time of year. There is so much to do. I have to say, guys, do not ask me if I'm ready for Christmas, because I really am not. I'm a bit of a last minute merchant, which does create overwhelm for me. So what mindfulness does is it keeps you in the present, in the now, because we find that when we are feeling overwhelmed, we are thinking about all the things that we should have done, could have done, need to do, going to do tomorrow, all of the things that we've probably forgotten about. So my recommendation for that is to just stop. Take a breath and think about what is the most important thing that needs to be done. And as they say, just get stuck into that one thing, and then you'll find that everything else will follow on behind it, and it will feel more controlled and easier, because your mind, your conscious mind, I said this last time when I spoke, can only deal with about 7 bits of information at any one time, and really that's the maximum. So when you are feeling overwhelmed, stop. And one of the techniques that I'm going to teach you today is about counting to 12 on your fingers. And I tried to do this before once, and it is going to be funny, but if you look at my hand and you can see the creases in the fingers, why do I always do this to myself? Want to show something. When you have that moment, you just take your thumb and touch the top of your little finger, 1, the top of your ring finger, the top of your middle finger, the top of your index finger, and then move your thumb down to that third part of your finger, that part there, and then down to the bottom, still counting, and the bottom of the next finger, the bottom of the ring finger, bottom of the little finger, to the middle of the little finger, across to the middle of your ring finger, to the middle of your, oh, that was my middle finger, and then the middle of my index finger, and then start again. And by just concentrating on that movement around your hand and your fingers, that will give you that time to allow your mind to just take a break. So, we've talked about this one before. Number 4, breathing. It actually works well with number 3, the mindfulness, because breathing is a quick fix of when you are feeling stressed or angry. And I know, and I have seen and I have heard stories about the tempers that get raised over Christmas because something has gone wrong. Someone's complaining because they haven't got enough pigs in blankets or something like that. And when you've been working all day really, really hard cooking a meal, or you've been decorating a tree or buying presents, it really can take you sideways. So my tip, my 4th tip, is to remember breath. And that is, as soon as you feel anything that might feel like that feeling in your pit of your stomach where you're getting to feel wound up, maybe a bit angry, a bit tense, take a few moments and breathe. Take a deep breath in, hold, and exhale, breathing out all of the tension. So, as I said, I will be posting in the week, and I will post a breathing technique that will be able to help you. Oh, here's another one. I like this one. So, what I'd like you to do is have a laugh with me while I talk you through. So this is number 5, and it's the power pose. Now, I do my power pose when I'm standing up, and I do it when I just need to feel my energy to rise a little bit. And after all, why would you not want to start your day as a super being? And it's really simple to do, and it doesn't take very long at all. And it helps when you're having low energy or when you want to have your confidence built. So just before I jumped on this, before everything went a bit upside down and ran the wrong way, I did it for a few moments because I always like to practice what I preach. And I'm going to show you now, so you're going to have a little bit of a laugh. Now, the idea is that this posture and this position actually stimulates the hormones within your mind and your body. I talk often about the mind-body connection, and it actually starts to raise some testosterone, which is one of those things that mainly the men have, but us ladies have a bit as well. And what I'd like you to do is this, and I'm going to demonstrate it standing up, but you can do it while you're sitting down as well, so don't worry. I just want to give you all a bit of a grin this evening. So, feeling a bit down, can you see me? Yes, I think you can. Okay, feeling a bit down, needing a bit of energy, etc. You stand, you place your feet hip width apart, stand tall, hold your tummy in, chest up, shoulders back and down, big smile on your face, and then lift your arms in the air. And you can do it with your eyes open or your eyes closed, but you stand there for 2 minutes, feeling powerful, thinking the thoughts of being superb. The other way that you can do it is actually by putting your hands on your hips. Same posture, but it's a slightly different position. And again, keep your shoulders back and down. Oh, we can't see my head now. And just stand there for a few moments and allow that energy to flow through your body. So as I scoot the chair back over, there you go. So there is the power pose and the performer pose. Give them a go. If nothing else, you'll probably have a bit of a giggle doing it. And my takeaway action for this for you guys is go and share it with your friends and family now. It will definitely cheer you up. All right, we're going to be halfway through now because I'm going to talk about affirmations. Talked about them before, and affirmations is a form of auto-suggestion, aka self-hypnosis. I know this, I'm a hypnotherapist. And, you need to... Going back to what I was saying about the comparisonitis, we sometimes find that the self-talk in our head is the thing that actually brings us down. Our thoughts are what create our feelings, because it's our thoughts about the circumstances, that's going on in front of us in our lives that are affecting us. If we can actually change our thoughts, we can change our feelings. And a thought pattern can be a habit that we create because we do it so repeatedly over and over again. So why settle for having the not so good stuff? Let's choose some phrases that are the good stuff. Tell yourself how fantastic you are. Tell yourself how brilliant you are, and tell yourself often. And one of the things is, it's like I've talked about the unconscious mind before, and the unconscious mind will actually want to find evidence to back up whatever your thoughts are. So at this time of year, at Christmas, where everybody's supposed to be having a great time, if you are saying to yourself, oh, I'm going to have a miserable time, bah humbug, I hate Christmas, I'm going to be so alone, it is going to make you feel like that. I mean, I know how lonely it can be at Christmas. Although I'm with my mum this year, there have been some years when my daughter was very small where I was on my own, and I found it quite upsetting. But I decided I wasn't going to do that. On occasions I have thought that, well, it's just another day, because to some people Christmas Day is just another day. Or you can do I'm going to buy some food that I really like, and it may or may not be turkey. Or I'm going to choose what it is that you're going to do. But if you tell yourself you're going to have a rotten time, you will have a rotten time. So instead of going, bah humbug, I hate Christmas, perhaps you need to start thinking about, I always feel happy at Christmas. And I don't mean to say you've got to say you have a brilliant time at Christmas or anything. But by telling yourself, I'm going to enjoy myself, I'm going to be comfortable in my own skin, because after all, I am unique and I am super. And you use whatever is a positive affirmation over and over again. So, action to take home on this one is to come up with a phrase that makes you feel good and that will allow you to feel okay about whatever your circumstances are over Christmas. Number 7, smiling. There's an awful lot of smiling that does go on over the Christmas season. And out and about, I did some research and I came up with 9 reasons why smiling is so good for you. And I will post those during the week as well. But we all know what it's like when you see somebody across the room, or even in the supermarket like I did the other day. I had face mask on, and for some reason I was having happy thoughts as I was walking down the shopping aisles. Somebody was walking towards me, and the face was quite flat and blank, but as soon as he saw my eyes, he broke out into a big grin, and you could see his eyes and his face and his body posture change as well. Smiling made me feel happy, and it certainly made that person that was looking at me feel happy as well. So my challenge is decide to smile. Smile at everybody that you see over the next few days. Raise those good hormones and see how many people you can smile. how many people you can smile. See how many people you can make smile with your big, happy, smiley face. All right, I think I'm going to have a drink now because I'm getting a bit breathless and a bit thirsty. So excuse me. So let's see. So number 8, acts of kindness. To me, and to many people, there is this time of giving, of presents and gifts. But I don't think it should be just for Christmas Day. And I don't think it should always be something of value, because there is something really lovely about being the giver. And a lot of people who are the receiver feel quite embarrassed sometimes when they receive gifts. I know I have. But then I stop and I think about how it makes me feel when I give something to somebody, or when I do something for somebody and they really get a pleasure from it. So I want you to think over this period of time, what can you do that is a small act of kindness that doesn't necessarily cost money, but it does make a difference to somebody's lives. And you know, if you're going to be alone at Christmas, or even if you're all together as a family, is there anybody that you know where just dropping them a card or waving at them or just a small something will make the world of difference to them? It is such a good feeling. And I have to say, well, this is a financial thing. I really love it when I'm in a coffee drive-through, and I buy my coffee, and I will give some money to the store, and I ask them to take it and give it to not the people in the car behind me, but the people in the car behind them, so that there's no way that anybody knows who it was or that did it, and they take it off of their bill, and it gives me so much joy that I love it. And it literally it isn't a lot, it's just like an English pound or something like that, or two. So quite literally, I want you to take action and have a look around the world and see if you can just do some act of kindness. And it feels even better if they don't know that it was you that did it. Now, I talked about practice, so that some techniques take practice. Well, meditation is one of those things, and that's my 9th tip. To maintain calm and to keep yourself focused, I recommend doing some meditation each day. And the crazy thing is that meditation is actually one of the simplest things to do, but it's incredibly difficult to achieve. But it does help you gain the most amazing results in your life. And I think that's why they call it a meditation practice, because you have to keep practicing. And meditation just gives you that peace. It allows creativity, not right then while you're doing your meditation, but it just opens your mind to possibilities. I think it's great for re-energizing. If I'm feeling particularly tired, if I just do a 10-minute meditation, I can start to feel a little bit more energized afterwards. And it definitely is a mood changer for me. If I'm feeling particularly grouchy, then I will stop again and I'll do a bit of meditation. So my action, practice meditation. Doesn't have to be for very long. 5 minutes is enough. And I will do a guided relaxation, which is a little like a meditation, next week. But it's very, very simple to do. And in the post, I will give a very brief explanation during the week, that is. So we're nearly at the end now. We've got 3 more to go. So number 10 is about self-care. And in actual fact, everything that I've talked to today is about self-care. And I have to say, and it's something I am definitely working on. Self-care is not something that comes easy to me, but it is something that we need to look after ourselves. And it goes back to what I was saying about, looking after yourself and the self-fullness point, because you can't do the things that you want to do for yourself or for others if you don't look after yourself. And one of the things at Christmas time, and I feel like I'm just repeating myself over and over again, is it is okay not to feel merry at Christmas. It's okay not to feel happy on your birthday. If you're not feeling it, sometimes you're just not feeling it. And that might be that you just choose to do things that feel good for you. And it could be have a long leisurely bath. It could go for a walk in nature. It could just be on the couch with a book and a box of chocolates. But whatever it is, this Yuletide time, please take some time out and look after yourselves. Get some you time. So, your action is between now and Christmas. Make sure you've recharged all of your energy and you get some of that good you time in there. Number 11. Now, I'm not going to do this because you will absolutely laugh yourself silly, but it's the energy dance. And when you're coming up to, we've eaten and we've socialised, if we are allowed, and we've been festive and merry and we're approaching New Year's. Sometimes you can feel a little bit weary, can't be bothered to do anything, it's a bit of an effort. Number 11, the energy dance. Put that music on. And I have to say, in the group when we've been doing the music posts, I love it, which is why I stick the YouTube bits on, because I will listen to the music and I turn it up sometimes and I will be bopping around my kitchen or rocking it out, whatever. And I'm always feeling so happy and so energised from moving around. So if you're feeling a bit flat, then do put on some music and dance as if nobody's looking at you. And you will feel energised and you will feel like you're having a great time. And my 12th tip, and this is really for New Year's and about New Year's resolutions. And it's called Get a Big Hat. And it comes from something that someone said to me years ago that has stuck with me. And it is literally, the full expression is, big hat, no knickers. When you want to change your life, and when you want to improve how you feel, and when you make resolutions and set goals, and you want to do things differently, it feels uncomfortable and it feels strange, and sometimes you can feel quite vulnerable. And what I tend to do is, I have a belief that if I am feeling uncomfortable, if I am feeling vulnerable, it usually means that I'm growing and I'm developing in some way. And I have a phrase, which I've just said, the big hat, no knickers, which carries me through loads of situations. And that is that my hat is so big and so exciting that nobody actually realises that I've got no knickers on underneath and that I'm feeling like I am. I just go do it. And I do it. And I cannot think of the times where things have gone so badly that I wished I hadn't. So what I would like to say to you all is, grab your big hat, act as if you were full of confidence, and do what your heart dreams of. So that really wraps up everything that I've had to say today. So I'm going to just check through the comments and see whether anybody has Oh, thank you, Shelley. It's really great. It's okay. I see that you've gone. And Alice, yes, self-fullness, definitely a good word. And I really hope that you can find a way of using it. And Melanie, it's so good to have you here. Thank you. If you have any questions at any time, as I said, please do post them in the group. And I really, really do wish you all a super, super Christmas and a fantastic New Year. And as I've said before, I'm going to open one of the rooms. So if anybody is feeling a bit lonely or wants to have a chat with anybody, then jump in the room, post in the group and ask others if they want to jump in there as well. Because again, put your big hat on and ask for what you want, because other people may be feeling the same but haven't asked. So I'm just going to quickly run through what I've just been through with you, and that is my 12 tips. Uniqueness. You are unique. You are the only one. You be you this year, and don't compare yourself to anybody else. Self-Fullness is about knowing and understanding that you need to take care of yourself so that you can be there for others at your full potential. It's a win-win, fulfilling both people's needs. Mindfulness. Take a moment and remember the hand with your thumb. Breathing. When we're stressing, we tend to breathe from our chest and a bit quickly. Stop for a moment, take a breath. You'll feel calmer. And then there's the power pose or the performer's pose. Use that if you want to raise your energy a little bit. And don't forget about the affirmations. Tell yourself about the good stuff about you. Tell yourself often. And your unconscious mind will start to look for things to back up what you've been saying to yourself. Smiling, smile at everybody and anything. If it moves, smile. Smile at the cats, the dogs, the birds in the trees, but do take a smile. Do small, simple acts of kindness for people. You will feel such joy at doing something so simple. Meditate. Really, just meditate. I can't recommend it enough, and yet it's the one thing that I actually find myself thinking sometimes, I just haven't got the time to meditate. I'm far too busy. Well, that's the key for me to know that really I should just take 5, 10 minutes, 20 minutes if I've got it out of my day. The energy dance, feeling a bit meh, put on some favourite music and dance it out. Dance everything out and have a bit of fun. And finally, get your big hat and just go for your dreams. You can do this. You have done and you will do time and time again. So that leaves me to say thank you again. And just a quick, I really want to grow this group to get as many people involved as possible so that we can help them together, and hopefully they'll enjoy some of my lives as well. So if you have friends who have had heart conditions, heart attack, heart surgery, please do feel free to invite them to the group. There's an invite button at the top of the group page, or you can just send them a link to the page and they can pop along and they can join us. So, as the beat goes on, I will see you next week. Thank you, and a Merry Christmas, and have a really cool Yule. See you soon. Bye.